You are now watching The Lone Blown. Blown! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? You're now back here at The Lone Blown, and today we're going to be going over a deck profile. If it looks a little bit different to you, that's because it is on Tabletop Simulator. That's the best way that I have found to test our upcoming formats, whether it's for the Atlas POG Championships in August, or if it's our post-rotation format that is Team Up to Darkness Ablaze. So with this deck profile, I am going to be focusing on the POG Championships that is brought to us by Atlas Collectibles in Waterloo, Ontario. Awesome place, by the way, if you get a chance to check it out. We have Vikavolt V here as a deck. And you might be like, yo, Zach, what's with this weird Crabominable tech? Well, this is the way that I can beat the mirror match. And this is the way that I can beat Eternatus VMAX. So the way that I've been viewing the format for a second is Vikavolt V is likely the best deck in format upon a first glance. It is the deck that allows other decks to surround around it that create the metagame. So starting off with Vikavolt V, we got to find something that counters Vikavolt V. So probably Pokemon with high amounts of HP, Pokemon that do high amount of damage. Literally, VMAX Pokemon do very well against this deck. So that allows us to play Eternatus VMAX, Scorch VMAX. Those cards should have a positive match against Vikavolt V with my early limited testing of our Ultra Prism to Darkness Ablaze format. Decks like those lose to single prize card attacking decks, such as Baby Blacephalon, and they lose to control decks such as Chinchino Control, Macargo, Mareep, things like that. Those decks go full circle, and those decks have a tough matchup against Vikavolt. So we're almost in this rock, paper, scissors metagame that I think is quite interesting. But Vikavolt, if it can find a way to beat at least the Eternatus matchup, hence the addition of Crabominable, it does pretty well. Now, this is not my final list or anything. This is the current list that I have. I just finished doing some testing games, and stay tuned because we do have a testing game to show you in the same video featuring Alex Garcia, one of the top players in Pokemon. I've redubbed over the commentary because we were just on a Discord call and having some fun with it. But shout out to him for helping me out with this video and for providing a solid testing partner. So let's jump into this. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay tuned on what we got going on. Got a lot of cool content like this. I've been posting 3 videos a day. So wherever you are, you're getting a lot of Pokemon content coming from the Lone Blown. Sure, you could find something of great use to yourself. Be sure to like this video as well. There's also a copy of this list in the description. So peep that out if you don't necessarily want to look at dice on cards. So starting off with Vikavolt, we're playing it because it's like the new item locking card. I think it's pretty awesome, just stopping your opponent from playing items. It works really well in this format because we have Electropower to power that up. We could also get that attack off the ground. It costs 2 energies, 1 lightning, 1 colorless with Tapu Koko, Thunder Mountain, counter gain. So we can power it up really quickly. After doing some item lock with the Marnie combination, just disrupting your opponent's hand with other cards like Reset Stamp and Marnie, you can do 190 damage to knock out some big HP Pokemon. Now, largely, it doesn't necessarily matter against decks like Eternatus and Scorch because they should be able to one-shot you much quicker before you should be able to 1 or 2 or 3-shot them. That's where Crabominable comes in, at least for the Eternatus matchup. Fight alone does a lot of damage, especially because Eternatus has that extra bench size. So in the following video, you'll see exactly how it works. And when I say following video, I mean just part of this same video, I should say. Because it's fighting type, Eternatus is weak to fighting. Sounds good. We have a Jirachi-based engine. Side note about Jirachi, I might want to add a 4th one in here. That's something that I'm pondering upon. Stellar Wish makes this deck a little bit more consistent, especially since we got Escape Boards and Switch in the deck already. Tapu Koko Prism Star to power up our Pokemon. You could also power up Crabominable with it as well. Crabominable can also be powered up with Counter Gain as well if you are behind on prize cards. So it has some nice synergy. The Dedenne-GX is to get Lightning Energies in our discard pile and generally get our deck set up. Marshadows to shut off other stadiums that our opponent might have in play, particularly Chaotic Swell, which would prevent us from playing a Thunder Mountain Prism Star. Thunderbolt and Prism Star is a pivotal card in this deck that is extremely important for us to get power up when we're trying to use Vikavolt V's attack. So Marshadow can stop that. We got 4 copies of Professor's Research, pretty common in any format. Same thing with 4 copies of Marnie. Item locking your opponent and putting their hand to the bottom of their deck can be an absolutely detrimental combo for your opponent. We have 2 copies of Erika's Hospitality in here, which is mainly to draw cards in the Eternatus matchup. We do need to draw cards like Crabrawler, Counter Gain, and Tapu Koko Prism Star in order to do well in that matchup. It is a card that I'm not entirely sure of if I like the count of 2, just because it can limit yourself pretty early. It's something that I might want to cut for a secondary copy of Counter Gain. Boss's Orders at 3 is great because we can even trap up one of our opponent's Pokemon, or we can use Boss's Order to take a large knockout with Zap Cannon on Vikavolt V for 190 plus damage. Switch is pretty self-explanatory, especially with Tapu Koko and Jirachi in the deck. 4 copies of Electropower. Why would we not play Electropower, especially considering Vikavolt can benefit it? You can knock out some things like Jirachi really easily and scale Zap Cannon. Quick Ball for discarding energies and searching out our basic Pokemon. We got 2 copies of Reset Stamp. I think Reset Stamp, item locking your opponent, even in combination with Boss Orders, can be insane. Pokemon Communication allows us to search out our Pokemon, and it allows us to get Crabominable out. So it just makes the deck that much more consistent for us. We have 2 copies of Escape Board, mainly for Jirachi. 1 copy of Toughness Cape to give Vikavolt V a little bit more HP. It's something I might want to consider cutting as well for like a 3rd Crabrawler. Really, the Toughness Cape doesn't necessarily matter against Chinchino Control or Mareep. It also doesn't matter against Baby Blacephalon, and it probably doesn't matter in the mirror match. This card also helps out in the mirror match. So Toughness Cape might be a card that we might want to cut, especially maybe for the 4th Jirachi or another Counter Gain after testing this deck a bunch. Now we do have 5 copies of Lightning Energy. That's just enough for Dance of the Ancients to work and to power up our attacks that cost Lightning Energy. Speed Lightning is our energy of choice because we could attach it and draw some extra cards, making the deck more consistent. And we have 2 copies of Capture Energy, which again is to search out basic Pokemon. So if you're playing against Eternatus, you could search out Crabrawler, making this deck very consistent overall. I wouldn't mind seeing an extra 2 copies of Capture Energy if that's possible. I mean, more energies in a deck like this it's not wasteful. We just can't really get rid of Lightning Energies. So do we want to play 13 copies of energies? Probably not. 11 seems fine for a deck like this. But really the biggest things that I would say that out of my testing, changes that I might make from this list would be cutting the Toughness Cape for another Counter Gain, and maybe cutting an Erika's Hospitality for a Jirachi. Everything else seems pretty self-explanatory and seems good. I'd also like to see another Crabrawler if that's possible. But again, it's one of those things, if that's possible. So let's see exactly how the game went between myself and Alex Garcia. So let's jump into that right now. So this is the game that I played with Alex Garcia. I am the one who's going to be playing the Vikavolt Crabominable deck. He is playing my Eternatus list. So we went through the coin flip, and I'm going first here. And excuse any mess that we have. We're very early to the tabletop simulator. We don't entirely know how to play it perfectly, but I think we did a pretty good job, especially for one of the early games that we've played. So Alex is starting with Yveltal GX, which is kind of spicy, more for, I mean, it's fine against a V deck. It's more against VMAX decks. I started with Crabrawler, and that's not terrible. So I'm going to play my turn out here, and it looks like I'm just getting the angle set up correctly for everyone. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm just getting the Crabrawler. It looks like he accidentally set up some more prize cards. There's my prize cards. And we're ready to go. So I'm going to start my turn by drawing a card. And we're going to go Quick Ball, search our deck for Vikavolt V. It makes a lot of sense to get the Vikavolt V, especially that the Yveltal GX is weak to Lightning type. I'm just going to go Speed Lightning, draw 2 energies there, and we're going to switch it over to Alex's side. So with Alex playing, I'm just going to flip my hand over in a second if I get a chance. Might be in a little bit. Again, still figuring it out. And if anyone's wondering, we're playing at 2 times speed. There's no way any of us could play this quickly. So Alex is just going to go out, grab an Eternatus, attach a Dark Energy for his turn. And it comes down to him going for another Quick Ball. It's hard because I'm looking at the cards in my hand and I'm like, yeah, there we go. We flip them over. He has 3 cards left in his hand, so he's just going to go Quick Ball. He's discarding an Absol instead of going for the Scoop of Net. He's going to search through his deck for a basic Pokemon. So we're going to see exactly what he's going to grab here. And what I think Alex is trying, well, not what he's necessarily trying to do, I think he's just trying to get enough energies or enough damage counters on play for the Crabominable to potentially get knocked out. So right now it's a Crabrawler, but he's playing it out to do the extra damage because it doesn't necessarily matter. Vikavolt's going to be difficult to knock out if he doesn't get the damage counters on there early enough. I'm not entirely sure if I feel like it makes the most sense for Yveltal, especially considering he's already attached his energy for the turn. But it's hard, especially when we don't know what the limitations of his hand are. In terms of getting basic Pokemon in, it's fine. My deck does not play Twin Energy or any way to power up that Pokemon one turn, and the Yveltal is not weak as well, which is really nice. He's just going to go Professor's Research, really digging to continue his strong setup at this point of the game. So there's a Scoop of Net. He's just going to do some more damage to my Pokemon with Galarian Zigzagoon, and that's one thing that's really good about this deck, especially in this format, is Yveltal GX can get knockouts on Pokemon, especially with Zigzagoons doing some damage. You need dark Pokemon on your bench anyway, so why not play Zigzagoon and get the extra benefit of the Yveltal GX? So we're going to switch back to my turn. I'm going to flip my hand back over here quickly, and we're going to see what we draw. So first things first, I'm just going to go and evolve into the Crabominable. The Crabominable is really helpful because its attack can just knock out an Eternatus in one go. So the way that I'm looking at this, I'm like, yo, if I get another Electropower, I can knock out the Yveltal GX, stop Alex from playing item cards. And I mean, I have a Crabrawler, or a Crabominable to back it up. So I did get the Electropower, which is awesome. I'm just going to put the Marshadow away, and I'm going to get a Tapu Koko Prism Star here. So that allows me to put Alex in a tough position because he either has to knock out the Vikavolt V and then face a knockout, so I'm going to be putting myself down to 5 prize cards by my second turn, or focus on a single prize card Pokemon and continuously allowing me to get my board set up. So here, I get another Electropower, and I'm just like, yep, big old knockout, just double checking the Yveltal GX to make sure it had Lightning weakness before I went through there. Make sure that you're always double confirming your plays. And there's my prize cards. So now we're going to switch over to Alex's turn here. I mean, I think we should be switching over to Alex's turn. Just flipping my hand over so it doesn't get confusing when we're looking at his side of the board. And there we go. He's got his Eternatus with a Dark Energy. And I think he's just like, yo, I can't really do too much because I'm item locked. Do I go after the Vikavolt and take the knockout or not? And with Eternatus VMAX being weak and myself having a limited bench, I'm probably not going to be putting Pokemon down or putting enough Pokemon down to stop my attack from working. So you got the energy, it's got an Absol. There's another Pokemon, so there's 6 on the bench, that's 210. That's enough to knock out the Vikavolt. So switching back over to my side, we are going to flip my hand back over and discard this Vikavolt V, sending that to the discard pile. And I'm going to send up the only Pokemon I have in play, or the only Pokemon that I have, Crabrawler, or Crabominable. All these Pokemon get confusing after a minute. So we're going to draw for my turn. And there's the energy I need to get the knockout. I'm just counting to make sure that we do the knockout. So I have 6 less bench Pokemon, so that's 330 damage times 2 for fight back. And I'm going to go ahead and Marnie. I mean, this does wipe out Alex's hand, or Alex's board of energy. So he really can't even knock me out. It's almost like a checkmate position. But just in case there's anything spooky that can just get a one-shot that I'm not entirely sure of, I just want to make sure that I'm just getting another basic Pokemon set up. Want to make sure that he's not using the reset stamp that I discarded with Quick Ball. And I'm just going to search for another... I was debating between Crabrawler and Vikavolt. Crabrawler sounds pretty good because I can get out another Pokemon that can knock out an Eternatus in one go. So here I'm like, look, I already have my energy. No point of doing Toughness Cape. I'm just going to draw 3 prize cards and put them down to a position where like I'm just chilling, and I'm going to flip my hand back over and scoop over and see exactly what his side's looking like. And he's just like, I mean, I could send up Crobat, but I have like all these Pokemon on my bench. And he's just going to flip back into my turn. Like, it just doesn't matter. And I'm just going to think he's flipping the table. We got that game win. So that's what we got here for today, peeps. We saw how Crabominable, after getting the Vikavolt knockout on the Yveltal, was able to just like bust through a few Eternatus and win the game, drawing 2 prize cards, 3 prize cards, and essentially getting a scoop from our pal Alex Garcia. So again, huge shout outs to him for helping me film this video and recording that game with me. And you want to what? Maybe if you want to record a game with me, let me know in the comments below. I know I can't be able to record games with everyone, but join the Discord server, become a subscriber to YouTube and to Twitch for enhanced priority on that. Let me know exactly if you want to collab on anything. Totally open for it. Again, I'm new to this kind of video with the tabletop simulator, so I really appreciate y'all watching up into this point. Thanks so much, peeps, and we'll catch up with you really soon here on the Lone Blound. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks, and have yourself a great one.